Alright, so this event for Final Fantasy V is the Esuna for Corona event, intended to raise money for charity now that people are suffering from a global pandemic. There's an encouraged donation thing somewhere. I don't remember entirely where, unfortunately. But it's sort of the same as the Four Job Fiesta, where instead of donating to whatever charity we usually do for that, it ends up going to, wait, it's fine. Shortcut, HB gauge on, re-equip, equip all, remember, auto dash on. Cool. Instead of the usual charity, it'll be going to something to prevent COVID-19. So, yeah, this is Final Fantasy V. It is my favorite Final Fantasy game, and it's pretty good. The party given for this event is in line with the Four Job Fiesta style, where, let's see, what do I want to name him? His name's Nate. The party for the Esuna for Corona event is a very strong party, has a reasonable amount of synergy going for it, and eventually it gets a chemist to just completely annihilate and sweep aside the end of the game. Chemist is the most powerful class in this game, and you just get it. On top of that, Bard is a very strong class that essentially guarantees a triple crown in normal Fiesta play. And then, in addition to that, you have White Mage, which guarantees you will win any fight, eventually. And then Red Mage it's there. It's got some tricks. It's alright. You'll be able to double cast Holy by the time you get to the end of the game, which will be quite powerful. Not nearly as good as Mix, but, you know, still gonna do it at least once or twice for the memes. Well, actually, I don't know if I will or not. I don't know if I will have ground up a Red Mage enough to make it happen. Thinking forward, trying to decide who I want to be, what class. I think Galuf will be my Red Mage for a lot of the game. Gonna try and get, well, somebody needs to stick with White Mage for a very long time, and I'd like it to be somebody that's going to be in the party forever. So Barst is going to be my White Mage until he maxes it out. Aside from that, Bard is really easy to master, so that's just going to be moved around as I see fit throughout the adventure. And then third class, or Chemist, everybody just needs to learn Mix. That's it. That's all I need at a Chemist. As long as I have somebody that can deal reasonable damage, I will be able to win with Chemist. I've seen a couple people doing their runs already, and they've berserked a Chemist along with increasing its level to crazy high levels. Level to levels, yes, of course. I have to be spreading damage out a bit better so that people pile up damage and go from there. Oh yeah, there's one other thing I want to do. We need to practice social distancing, so we're going to go front row, back row, for the entire game. We need to make sure that our social distancing game is on point. Oh boy, back attack. So, Galuf starts with nothing because it all broke, I guess, when he landed in the meteorite. Bart starts with a broadsword, which is reasonably powerful sword. It's the most powerful thing you can buy in the shops in the nearby town. Farrah starts with a dagger, which, due to how calculations work in this game, is much stronger than the broadsword. And Lena just picked up a knife off a kitchen table somewhere. And that's it. The knife is useful in a couple of situations where you need to deal very low damage, but aside from that, it is not particularly worthwhile to keep around long term. And the job that I am going to get first, White Mage, means that nobody will be able to equip the knife for a very long time anyway. So, the opening to this game here is going to be about, I don't know if it's going to be good to grind for some levels before I have to turn into White Mage, or whether I just turn into White Mage and go, but either way, it'll be a slog until Red Mage shows up or until I get the flail. The nice thing is, in the canal, there are... Well, like, the canal is going to be the only thing that's not going to be particularly easy. Right, I could open up the treasure room, but there's no point in doing that because it's all blocked. So, plot continues. What am I thinking about? In the near term, I'm just going to be beating the tar out of all the squids and octopi in the canal to get to the ship graveyard. Then I might want to spend some time in the one particular room where you have a good chance of getting elixirs, so I can get a couple of them, maybe. And aside from that, it might be good to pick up some tents before going out into the big wide world. Actually, no, there's free heal in the ship graveyard. Do I have any other save games? Well, this is the one, I suppose. Out of all of the variants that can be run in Fiesta, I prefer to run Game Boy Advance. It's easy to emulate, easy to run. There are a couple of good patches for it. People talk about the GBA's music and they're not particularly happy with it, but like, now that I've only heard it for such a long time, I can't imagine it sounding any other way, unfortunately. Gotta practice social distancing. Since she's in back, I'll leave things as they are. I'll grab the broadsword, and then I'll put that on Galef, and then we'll go from there. It's kind of a bummer to put my two good damage dealers in the back row, but well, the two fastest in the back row, but at the same time, I mean, we gotta practice social distancing. It's important to surviving this disease, you know? Alright, everybody's level 4. Like 7, I think, would be a good level to just sort of coast on if I was going to just go straight to the end game. If this were normal play, I'd be able to just cruise through, mash the A button, aside from when it turtles up in defense, but I'm going to go all the way back to the healing jar at the beginning. I'm going to heal up now that I've got 20 extra HP, and then I am going to... That's good. We can clear out a single fight in 4 round swings, and then I'll save on the way up, and then we'll fight the boss, Wing Raptor. Wing Raptor is the prototypical Final Fantasy starting boss when you have an ATB system, teaching you there are times when you should attack, there are times when you should not attack, and it's dependent on the ATB system, how everything moves. So, I'll save. Everybody's level 4. Going to meander over and pick a fight with Wing Raptor. Breathwind does a quarter of your health and damage, and I don't remember... Wing Raptor has one other attack, I think, and it only comes when its wings are closed. Then I need to be careful going forward because it's going to be closing its wings soon, I think. Yep, well. We'll use a potion just to make sure we can maintain momentum, and then everyone can take another Breathwing, so we're just going to continue swinging once he opens up. Any second now. Thanks, Wing Raptor. Door of each. Alright, I told it to remember, so remembered item. Cool, and you get some Phoenix down. One of the important things to notice about bosses in Final Fantasy V, they do not give EXP, but they give another resource called AP, which is not relevant because I do not have a class at the moment, but eventually I will get classes, and then I will be able to reclass. AP is how you make classes stronger over time. The mini wizard dudes right there, I think, drop rods, which are good for Black Mage class, but staff is the best weapon that I can get for White Mage at the moment. So I'm gonna have to be going back to town, buying all the white magic, maybe the black magic. What I remember from watching a Raving Loon speedrun, Final Fantasy V speedrun in air quotes, in the Fiesta setting, is that it's never worthwhile to go back for the first or second level spells and such. I know I gotta sleep the night and, you know, heal all the way back up, but I'm still going to wander over to the healing pot. Alright, so it's not particularly worthwhile to go back to pick up, like Fire, Thunder, and Blizzard and such. But if I already have it, I might be able to make use of it. I don't know. That's right, I need to put everybody in White Mage. White Mage, no abilities. Yep, that's expected. Yep, there we are. White Mage. Wind Crystal get. Since I have Bard this time, I need to make sure I piano flex, so in order to get over to the piano, we have to talk to the ladies and play the piano. Bartz is not good at playing the piano right now, but someday he will be. So it's a little bit of spending money. Then I can buy spells here. Let's get... okay. Black magic spells are relatively cheap, so I might as well. I don't think equipment is going to be a problem in particular. Potion, is there another item? I think they're past. Then there's items over here. Got myself some shoes. Random bush gives Phoenix down. I guess there was a chocobo nesting in that at some point that wandered off. Not entirely sure. But there's a lot of items just sort of hidden in random objects in the world. I remember a lot of the important ones, but I do not remember all of them per se. So, looking to pick up a lot of those as I'm going along through the game here. Ferris wandered out of the team for a short stint while the plot moved on, so I'm going to get her back in the party before I go and buy equipment and do the Traveler House, Adventurers Club, whatever it's called, the thing. Alright, I have enough to give everyone a staff. Put leather caps on, leather armor, leather shoes, leather armor, leather cap, leather armor, and leather armor. Alright. So, I have to check the house next door. Red mages do not get shields in this game, I don't think. Do they? Hat is more expensive than I have for the moment, so we'll sell one broadsword. Buy. And then I will have 2 leather caps. Now we are fully equipped. Leather cap and leather cap. Speed in this game is a function of equipment weight that you can see at the bottom of the window there. Once you start to go past 7, your turns will start to slow down a little bit, so it's better if you can stay underneath that. Fight Thief, I could see the invisible passage, but I don't. Alright, how good is our offensive prowess? It's a downgrade from what I was expected to seeing from when I had the broadsword and when I was in the freelancer class, but it's here. I'll put my shoes on the 2 in the front row. And then with my solid 1 AP, I will venture out into the world. We have jobs, we have a couple of spells. The plot begins in earnest. There's a lot of dialogue at the beginning of the game here, but I'm going to fast forward through it because I have seen this 20? 30 times? For all the times I've played through the game? Many times have I played Final Fantasy V. Whoop. Alright, so the canal here. The canal is full of these octopus and squid creatures. And the interesting thing to note is that they only attack the girls in your party, Lena and Paris. I suppose this is supposed to be some sort of hint, because at the beginning, Ferris is posing as a man, as the captain of a pirate ship. This is a hint that maybe they're a bit closer to each other or something. And I think some of the early classes, like, are more male-focused, but sort of look a little bit feminine or something. There's some hint in the classes that I don't quite remember. But, yeah. Gonna keep going. If you had Thunder from Black Mage, it would be really easy to just cast Thunder and get through these encounters. I do not have Black Mage, so I cannot do that. So, we just have to keep whacking everything with staves. And eventually we will get through. I also have Cure, which, always good. Octokraken seem to have a lot more HP than the squids did, the suckers. Octokraken, I think, is a reference to a boss fight in Final Fantasy IV, where as you beat up its tentacles more and more, it gets angrier and angrier and starts doing more damage. Okay, we are at the boss here. Front row, we'll cast Cure to get everyone back to full health. And then back row will probably be the people I try to cast Cure with, because they won't do as much damage because they're in the back row. Healer does damage and stuns for a little while. Ooh, 5, 4, good damage. 16. Okay, that's 21 total in my first round. Someone else, yep, is going to get healered. Carla Bros is the first of these sort of crayfish encounters. There's 2 of them in the game. Nice. I love everyone getting hit with Feeler. This is just going to be sort of a slow boss battle for me because I don't have... Wow! He is really not happy with my party members. Swing. Hope he doesn't Feeler. Wow, he does not like Galuf. can. I want to get into the ship graveyard as quickly as I can because everything there, I think everything there, is undead, and they take damage from healing magic, so I'll get to spam healing spells at the enemies and level myself up. Also, the flail is in the ship graveyard, which will allow me to be able to swing for reasonable damage with my party members. So, another problem with the staff. Ooh, yeah, Tailscrew is the nasty ability. It sets you to critical health, which is like the last 10. It's the single digit at the end back there, the ones digit. It's a deadly condition, usually, if it can be followed up, but since I can just heal immediately after getting hit with that attack, it's not terribly pressing at the moment. So, I'm just going to keep swinging with, just keep swinging with the saves, eventually we'll get through. There's not terribly much to worry about here because his physical attack is halved by 2 of my party members being in the back, and like anytime they drop below 35 or so HP, they have to be healed, and I have everybody on the team can heal with a spell, and then I'm carrying around a bunch of potions too. This boss is not a problem, it's just an endurance test. A fitting way to describe White Mage on the whole. I'm at the point where I'm ready to just hit the fast forward button as much as I can to get through. Nearly there, I think. I hope. If we had Blue Mage, we could get access to a... Oh no, I have Libra. Let's just take a look, shall we? Level 5. 26. Hey, we're nearly there. Yellow will probably finish it on this attack. Huzzah, 5 AP. I said I was considering buying tents, and I did not buy any tents. Thankfully, in the ship graveyard, there is healing next to every save point, and once I'm out of the ship graveyard, I can sandbag to wherever else I'm going by just casting Cure over and over and over again. So, let us access the first point of free healing. The old man gets the bed, everyone else sleeps in the chairs, which can't be particularly comfortable. I'd imagine it might be more comfy to sleep on the floor, but such is life. That's the direction to go onwards, I believe. And we have a single skeleton. And now we can demonstrate what white magic does to undead. It does damage instead of healing them. So, people have gained job levels, we now have white 1. If I were to transfer from White Mage to a different job, I'd be able to take the first level of white magic with them to that job as an equipped ability. It's not useful now, it won't be useful for a while, but eventually it will be useful. With 3 skeletons, the best thing to do is to hit them with full party heals and finish them off that way. Daggers would be useful for any class aside from the ones we currently have. Daggers are the best weapon you can get for a reasonable amount of time, and hanging out fighting skeletons until you have 4 of them is recommended for many classes at the start of the game. But we have White Mage. I think the oh no, they do take healing damage. I thought they might be immune to it for some reason. The Calcruthal? Another thing to notice about magic is that when you multicast it over an entire enemy party, it does half damage compared to what it usually would. So you can, so a thing to notice between multi-target attacks and regular single-target attacks is usually you want to sort of set it up due to how many enemies you have to fight, but there are a couple of situations where you want to spread out your damage even though you're fighting a single target. If you are fighting a boss and have reflect rings equipped, if you reflect a spell off your entire party, that's half damage times 4. That is the correct way to go forward. I want to go this way first. Yep, so I can get the chest there. You can do double damage compared to what you'd usually deal. Trample Strike, that's good. Do I need 2? No. Only 2 is enough now. How long am I at? I'm at 6. 15 away from level 2 white. This should probably be able to kill him in a single hit. I'm going to have a problem with Siren, where Siren's the boss of this area. She transforms between physical resistant form and physical weak form, and one of the forms that it's called a Mind Flusher up there. I can't remember if the Mind Flusher is also undead. It seems to be. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Alright, 2 APB. Oops. Walked into the wrong part of the room. You fall down a level. So, that room that I just passed through is the recommended grinding room if you are playing Final Fantasy V. It's right next to this one, which has free heals in it once you cross this point here. And it's located right next to a save point. And in addition to that, there is a higher chance of some of the stronger monsters showing up here that give more AP and EXP. So I'm going to hang out here probably until level 7, I think. That seems like a good number. Let's see what happens if I cast the spell like this. Okay, it takes all 4 of the party members casting heal to be able to take down the undead giants, but I did just get an elixir out of them, so that's helpful. Okay. Due to the solo segments that Nate got at the beginning of the game, he is going to be higher level than other people for the foreseeable future. Let's see. He's got 210 he needs in the next level. Maybe we should just go to 8. Considering how many undead husks I am getting, it's probably in my best interest anyway, because any extra elixirs I can get will also be good, especially once I hit the end game, and it's just double casting Holy. Assuming I ever hit that point, I suppose. Okay, people have hit job level 2, that's good. The spells for job level 2, I think, are Silence, Protect, And then there's, excuse me, something that unblinds? I don't remember them off the top of my head because they're situationally useful. And, you know, when you're situationally useful, there are many situations in which you do not need them. So, well, they don't hit for that much, so I'm not particularly worried about getting whacked by these guys. I've not been keeping track of how much EXP you need. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get everyone to 8, and then I'm gonna move on, just because it's a reasonable durability increase, and I'm not sure how easy it'll be to level up in, like, North Mountain or anywhere else. Don't know what level is recommended for Garula as well, because this grind here is not intended for the next boss. Well, I mean, it sort of is. But I don't have nearly as many good options to Garula aside from just grinding out that fight, so I would like to be able to invest a bit more on the front end in a place where I know I can get reasonable EXP, AP, and then later deal with the fallout of that, per se. Because eventually it's not going to be easy to fix a deficit of EXP, because things won't be weak to full party target magic. Okay, he's about to hit level 8. I will have one person with a flail, and everyone else will just kind of stand around and heal him, maybe attack with the staff. I think the flail is back row okay? I do not remember off the top of my head. If you were playing this game not under Fiesta conditions, then you may not have to do this. Me, in my specific condition... Oops. Well, time to heal up. Was not keeping track of MP usage. Good job. But I'll walk into progress. Everyone seems to be a little late. Do I want to go further, or is this enough? I think this is enough for the moment. Onwards. And there's nothing here. Yep. Let's attack. I want to see what 4 attacks does to this guy. Okay, 4 attacks is enough to kill a single skeleton. If you take the flail, is the flail back row okay? There's a lot of variance on the flail's swing, so I don't know. Yes, I got the world map. Thank you very much. There's a lot of variance on the flail swing, so it might be hard to tell whether it's... Well, that's the other problem with figuring out if it's back row okay or not. The flail has abysmal accuracy. Which, you know, I wish the physical options for White Mage weren't like this, but at the same time, yeah, there it is. And now I'm locked in for the boss. There are some points where I consider, hey, maybe I should have wandered back to the save point before wandering up to this boss, but it's not that long of a walk back. It's just frustrating when it happens. Siren is good at throwing out status magic to start the fight, and her HP carries over between the between her 2 forms. Libra is just sort of a waste of time. It makes things easier for you, the player, which is very nice. Yeah. Just gonna keep swinging at Siren until she transforms. Then we'll think about what's next from there. Okay, well, slow and sleep are not what I would like to see at the moment, but then she transforms and she casts spells. But since she's undead, she's vulnerable to healing magic, so I think Elixir has a chance to set her to critical HP. I don't remember if Galuf can wake up from this. But yeah, she has a sort of offensive and defensive mode that she cycles between. And you just sort of, as White Mage, you just cast your spells when you can to hurt her. Yeah, Galuf is... Oh! Now we're good. Okay. Still poison? Still poison. Wait. Oh, it was on Galuf. Okay. White Mage, Poisoner. Alright, she gets back up. Now we continue out onto the world map. Anytime you're on the world map, you can use a tent, heal 100 MP and 1000 HP, and I'm not particularly worried about that at the moment, so let's see how much damage the flail does from bad row. Nice. These guys counterattack for the first half or so of their HP, I believe. Let's see. Galuf is the best person. Voice not cure. Alright, we're up at full health. It's a long walk. Many random encounters on the way. I'll take one more and then heal up at the end here. Alright, good. Carwin. Carwin allows you to buy items. In that box in the bottom right corner down there is an ice rod. If you have a class that can equip a rod, you can equip that rod, then use it in the middle of battle to break it and deal and to cast a Blizzaga spell. Rods cost 750 gold. Eventually I will be purchasing them because Red Mage can make use of them, but at this moment there's nothing better for me to really have equipped or deal with. So there is a better robe at the very least, so I will be purchasing 4 of them. We will upgrade everyone's cloth armor. Yep. No increase in weight, and yet we all get more defensive. Nothing can be put in the other hand. So we bought armor. We can't buy any weapons. Let's take a look at spells. How expensive are spells? He's still selling the first level black magic spells. Second level black magic spell and sleep, and then protect is the new spell for White Mage. A boss is coming up that has... I don't know if I actually have to... Okay, if I did specific talk chains in the correct way, there'd be somebody in the pub there that would tell me that a wyvern was seen up on North Mountain, but... yeah, I'm not particularly worried about filling in all the checkboxes for the plot before I continue on into the future. I've seen them all at least once. It's good enough that I have looted the city for its riches. Last thing I'll do is sort the inventory, and then we will sell things I no longer need. Daggers will be good when I eventually have Red Mage. We'll sell that. I don't think they can use shields. And then we'll sell all 4 of the leather armor. I do not need an extra staff. Should I have more potions or antidotes or ethers or something? I think this is a good time to pick up the consumables that heal status conditions. Say I want to be carrying around 10 of them. Later on, all of these, well, many of these items can be used with chemist for 10. Alright. All of my money has gone away but at the same time, I'm fully healed. I am stocked to the brim. I have purchased new magic. I am ready for North Mountain. Why do I choose to antagonize the Gatling? A very good question. Sometimes it chooses not to counterattack. I'll take it. But a single cure will bring me up to full, so it's fine. The Tautos seem to give me tense, so okay with that. I'm going to put the flail on Nate so that I can see if it does more damage in the front row compared to the back row. Did I ever give her a staff? I did give her a staff. Good. Good job. I'm going to need to use a tent before North Mountain just because I decided to pick fights with every random encounter along the way. Good. Since Bartz needs to swing more than anybody else, he can cast the heal spells here at the moment. It's a good start. Save the game. Need to fight one, maybe two more battles, and then everyone will have level 3 white magic. Level 3 white magic includes Cura, not Esuna, that's level 4. I cannot remember what level 3 white magic is. These guys seem to have more evasion than I'm expecting. Wow. Maybe good to just put Protect on him, on my frontline guys, just so that... Alright, lesson learned. Don't fight cats. It's not worth it. The amount of MP you have to burn in battle to recover from fighting a cat. It's too much. But, at the very least, showing them off once is important. Maybe. I'll probably end up trying to loot the room. And we flee. And we flee again. There are weapons in this game that strengthen and weaken depending upon how many times you have fled from battle. The Brave Blade weakens for every battle you have run from, and the Chicken Knife strengthens for every battle that you have run from. The strongest the Chicken Knife gets is 128 at 256 fleas, so now that I did all my grinding in the shipyard, I don't really need to fight for a very long time. I can just go until I reach the next designated grind location, and then just stop fighting entirely and keep going. But yeah, I'm going to use the tent, and then here's hoping that I can take a full drain from Magissa. So, this upcoming fight, as I remember, Magissa has, how much HP does she have? She has like 600 something HP, and then once she drops below half, her husband comes in to help her in the fight. Her husband only attacks physically. She can cast some magic. The magic is not particularly dangerous per se, but you want to be on top of it. The scariest thing she can do is she can cast Drain, which is capable of one-shotting a lot of early parties, and it puts you really far back on, you know, how far you are. Oh, let's see how much damage it does. Damn, that's an instant call. Okay. There's nothing I can do about that besides Hemorrhage, Phoenix Downs. Damn. Not happy about that. I should have considered, I suppose, grinding for longer in the Skeleton Graveyard. Man, she is not a fan of lineup. Should have considered grinding for longer in the Skeleton Graveyard, but my backup strat at this point, I think, is going to be to let her run out of magic and spells so that she is effectively neutered Yep. Let's take a look at what her maximum HP is at this point in the fight. Level 8, 650. Alright, so that's the same that Carla Boss had. I mean, that's damage, but I'm not particularly worried about it. It's not much. This, too, is also not much damage, but we might as well. The big problem, as I remember, is once her husband, Forza, shows up, she ends up in the back row, which means all physical damage does half as much. So the fight will turn into a longer slog once Forza appears. As said earlier in this, White can overcome any fight that is in this game. It just takes time and patience. And sometimes a little bit of luck. Save the MP just a little bit. Alright, Forza's here. She will cast Regen on Forza, and then he will just continue to swing at the party. Since I have White Mage, I have Protect, some of my characters are in the back row, I am not terribly worried about how much damage he will deal. Yeah, 40 is not that much. I mean, compared to, like, Drain killing whoever she hits with that, 40 is nothing. You don't want to have, too little HP that you can't survive, like a Blizzard and a Punch from the two of them ganging up on somebody, but at the same time, you don't want too much HP because then it just can take it all, and then she'll go all the way back to max HP. So this fight, in some ways, is a delicate balance about how much you want to keep up with your healing versus how much are you willing to just sort of lie down. And Drain Mist. So one of the things about magic accuracy in this game is every spell has an innate accuracy, and Drain's is not perfect. Magissa also is not, like... She's not terribly high level, we're on equal levels, so there's a chance that it can miss. But also on top of that, like, increasing your magic resistance stat, I think it is, allows it to sometimes... Like, that factors into the accuracy calculation, and you can get lucky. Sometimes she'll miss Drain, but it's not something that can be terribly relied on. I was expecting to have to pick somebody back up, heal them. Yep, just like this. She hit my damage dealer too. Okay. I'm going to have to... I should have waited with everyone so that I could use them all together to get them back up and heal them and slap Protect on. So we are going to do that. We're going to wait. Then Phoenix down. Phoenix down revives with very little HP left. So then we'll hit him with Cure, and then Protect will be cast upon him, and then we will continue swinging once he's back up and running. He's going to go first. Ferris, Cure on everyone. Eventually, she will be knocked out. I have a feeling that, like, I don't know how many drains she can cast on top of everything, but I'd like to think she's running out of MP. I'd like to think is not, I know she's running out of MP, but, you know, I can still think wishfully. Or she might get just knocked out by the flare here soon. That'd be the nicest thing, but it probably won't happen because she's used Drain a couple of times. Let's take a look. Level 8. 63, okay. If If I get a good hit in with the flail, she'll get knocked out. Otherwise, just keep swinging, then she'll go down eventually. We'll push damage, and Galef might get the kill here. Yes, alright. Now we just have to beat up Forza. Forza will not be particularly difficult because he regens 4 HP every turn. It's nothing. He has roughly the same HP as his wife, but I have Protect, so he can't do that much damage to me, especially when compared against, like, Drain, instant killing, and then putting me back 3 or 4 turns on the fight. Okay, I guess Tackle's something I ought to be a little bit worried about. But he will eventually go down, so this fight is not difficult per se, it's just can you balance between hitting back row and front row to handle what's going on in this fight here. Or alternatively, are you willing to use the Ice Rod and push for damage at very specific HP thresholds? Excuse me. Keep swinging. It's better to keep swinging with my dudes in the front row. I will heal with Ferris and Lena, and everyone else will just keep swinging. In some ways, it feels kind of like a bit of a dick move to just kind of like take my 2 fastest characters and put them in the back row where they can't do nearly as much damage as everyone else, but you know, in these trying times, we gotta practice social distancing, we gotta stand in uneven rows here so that we don't give each other the coronavirus. There are sacrifices that we all make for the common cause, now that life has drastically changed. The fight is long, but eventually I will prevail. So, I'm just going to hold down the fast forward key for a bit, see what happens. And now I need to heal. He does not like Ferris particularly much. And 6 HP. Power Drink is something that can be used with chemist. Whip is special for the Beastmaster class. Freelancers could also use it if you had a Freelancer at this point. A whip stuns beasts, which, you know, sometimes you fight them and that's useful. The thing I can do at this point, should have been checking the world map, but I completely missed Waltz Castle, and now I'm here in Tycoon. This is where Lena and, in the past, Ferris are from, so you can come here, you get some plot, and the plot changes depending upon where you're at in the story, whether some of these reveals are known or not, and there's a lot of good items hidden here in the castle. So I'm going to pick up a bunch of really good consumables, and then keep going. Hello? Why do you not want me to grab the high potion, sir? I need that. And up here. After Cottage. Cottage fully heals HP and MP when used on the world map or at a save point. It's a stronger version of the tent. But eventually cottages will be the thing used to keep yourself at full health, to keep yourself going through the dungeons, but not yet. can't go into the king's room. This is Lena's room, and there's nothing to be grabbed in either of those rooms. Then up here, we go towards where the dragon launched from at the start of the game. So, need to just grab all the items in this room. A couple consumables, a couple good potions. I think there was an elixir or two in there. Stockpiling elixirs for the end game is a smart idea because they're so powerful. But we need to raid the storehouse, locked in this isolated tower here. They've got a bunch of supplies, and I don't think there's anything in the room along with the chests, but you know, you always want to check. 2 cottages will come in handy later in the game. That's a couple thousand gil saved that would be spent on other necessities, and it's always good to have an option of a full heal this early. But now we're back in the storehouse, and he says, here's the healing staff. The nice thing about the healing staff is it's free healing without use of MP. So I can swing the healing staff and heal up without needing to worry about, like, worrying about my MP total, which will come in useful in a fight coming up here, but in the short term, I am not particularly going to need it because I'm just going to keep pressing the attack button with probably staves I may be able to buy. Well, let's check and see what the armor shop has. I didn't fight all that much, so I do not expect to have much money with which to acquire weapons and armor. Yep. There is one pickup that I want here once this guy moves far enough out. Yep. Rivet, rivet. In this guy's house, in this unobtrusive pot, he has a pair of silver spectacles. Silver spectacles prevent the blind condition, and that is useful once or twice in fights coming up here soon. Here they sell time magic and summon magic, which is a hint, perhaps, to the 2 classes that will be appearing next. So, save. It's been roughly an hour. I'll be back soonish. So, just gonna let the world map music play for a little bit. Okay, back at it again. So, the next part of the story, we're trying to protect the remaining crystals in the world because the wind one broke right as we got to it. We need to now protect the water crystal here near Walt's Kingdom. And you can't get into the tower because it's locked by the king until you... not here, this is the dungeon. I think up here? Yes. This is where Jack and Apes is. So, Game Boy Advance has a glitch that I'm going to take advantage of here. Back here. Okay. So, I'm going to save state as I do this just because it'll save me some time. But there is the quick save glitch in this game where if I took 1 or 2 more steps, I get an encounter every time. But what you can do is you can reset the step counter by using quick save and quit. You go back to the title screen, you mash your way through, and then you will end up being able to restart in the spot that you left at. I will load from quick save data, and then I can just quick save again, and then I can run further into the castle here. So that is a long ways. So Jack and Apes will fuck you up. It is really strong, and it can berserk everyone in the party. So Jack and Apes is not easy to fight. Okay, cool. I did reset, so I need to go here. As long as I do everything the same as I did last time, it'll the step counter will run out at the same point. I do not remember how many steps it is that's safe, but I mean, I'm emulating. I'm just going to quick save relatively often anyway, just because it's easy to do, and the Elven Cape is a really strong reward. Usually what you would do to get the Elven Cape without doing this is you would have a thief in your party, but since this is, you know, not... No, they won't let me put that in the left hand, obviously not. On robe, okay. Let's put some shoes on somebody else. So, I guess she gets the specs, she gets the shoes, and then I will give Ferris the healing staff, and we'll go from here. Alright, so there's another boss fight that you could optionally do in Walt's Castle against Shiva. Shiva drops an orb that allows you to summon her, but I will, you know, I'm not going to have the summoner class. I'm not particularly worried about that. Hello, Garula. Garula will be our next boss at the top of the tower, where it'll actually be interested in fighting. Like here on the world map, we just stare at it, and it stares at us. And eventually it flees. I think. So we're just going to stare at it for a little bit, and see if I'm correct. As a token of thanks for staring at it, for spending time with it, it gives 1 AP. Thank you, Garula. Kind and gentle, friend to all children, Garula. Problem is, we are not children. So once we hit the top of the tower here, we will be subjected to the full wrath and fury of Garula. Level 8, I think, is enough, so I'm just going to trust that Bartz is going to be able to, bludgeon down Garula without... Nope. Get down there. Let's give the Silk Robe to Galuf because he's going to be in the front row with no protection from the Elven Cape. And I would... Ooh. That's a rough encounter. Okay, we're halfway up. We haven't had to actually fight anything. And we're going to keep going. Ooh, another rough encounter. Wyvern. In the PlayStation 1 translation, it was called Wyvern instead of Wyvern. Silver Armlet is another way to add defense to somebody at the expense of making them much slower. I'm willing to make that trade. I don't think Garula can blind, so we'll give some leather. Were the leather shoes doing the same as the silver specs? I think they were. This is my last chance to equip before fight. Yeah, silver specs do the same as the shoes, but they also block blind. Okay, cool. Well, she gets the cool sunglasses. He gets most defense out of everyone because of the armlet, I think. Yes. And then she's got shoes. He's got the Elven Cape. Nobody can dual wield in this party, so 2 staves, the healing staff on Varus, and the flail on Nate. So one of the problems with Garula is that it is going to begin counterattacking later as this fight goes on. So it is important to get protect up on everyone as quickly as you can, but I am just going to push damage with Nate because I can. Start. Now that I have protect up, I'm not worried about Galuf getting one shot here particularly quick. The fight is just going to start to drag a little bit. So, the heal staff will heal somebody up for a good amount of HP. The problem with this fight is that there will be a turning point where through all of the counterattacks you will not be able to keep up unless only the person with the flail is swinging at Garula. Garula gets, like, he'll start swinging more times as the fight goes on. He will start you'll start using special attacks, and it can add up very quickly. The best way to deal with it is to limit the number of attacks that you are making against Garula in the fight. So the best we can do is just swing with Nate, and eventually hope we get lucky. Eventually everyone would move to the back row except for Nate and keep swinging, but we're not really going to do that at the start here. The other party that has a lot of trouble with this fight is all thieves, because thieves do not have that much defense. They don't hit particularly hard. They don't have a lot of HP. And I think was that a counterattack? I think that was a counterattack, yeah. Alright, so we're now in phase 2, where only Nate should be the one attacking. Yes, that is certainly a counterattack. And he had 2 people with that. Level 3, 766. I should not be doing that, but I felt like doing it anyway. I'll take as much advantage as I can of Paris's free healing, and then that just sometimes happens. In some cases, it's better to just defend than attack. Rush inflicts HP leak, which is, you know, not good to have on my damage dealer up there, especially if... Wait, I want to use healing staff on him. Especially since he's the one attacking turn over turn over turn over turn over turn. Cast Cure on everyone. The only thing I'm really racing against at this point is, like, HP leak isn't great, but it's not particularly a problem in this fight, in my opinion. So, everyone just kind of hangs out while, feeling lucky. Wow, 9 damage. Really worth it. Really worth Lena getting punched in the face twice. Wow. 3 times. Okay, Garula, take a chill pill, please. But yeah, the number of actions can really stack up, especially if you are attacking and you don't get much of anything out of it, you know? Such as 3 damage. I just think it's kind of funny, so I'm gonna keep doing it, but be advised, this is not the optimal way to play this fight. Because, as you can see, Garula can stack up a lot of damage in between rounds and bring somebody up to near death over the course of continued actions in the fight. It's not pleasant, and you don't really want to encourage Garula to do that, but, you know, sometimes you just gotta demonstrate. We're nearly 2/4 of the way through this fight, and the back half of this fight is just, well, the back 2/3 of this fight is just this. Same as had been seen earlier on. Sometimes you get lucky, and you get a reasonable amount of damage out. Many times you do not get lucky. Yeah, go for it. 11 damage. It's not much, but, you know, sometimes you gotta have a little bit of fun. HP leak is an interesting status effect because, it lasts for a certain amount of time, and during that time it just decrements your HP. But what if, what's the word I'm looking for here? So, what if the counter that decrements for, or what if the counter that controls how long HP leak goes for, what if that counter can't go anywhere? What if you are, frozen in time, per se? How does HP leak work? Well, if you are in frozen time, HP leak, continues to count, it continues to drain your HP, but you cannot, the counter for how long HP leak lasts does not change. So, in this game, there is a time mage spell called Quick. Quick allows a time mage to take 2 instantaneous actions. So what you can do is you can have a time mage cast Quick, and with the first action of Quick, inflict HP leak upon an enemy, and then once they do that, you can profit by just sitting back and never taking the second turn, so HP leak will never go away, and you can just watch an enemy bleed out slowly. This only works in some versions of the game. It works in the GBA version, which is part of the reason why I played the GBA version. So, yeah. There are a couple of useful glitches in case you want to triple crown when it otherwise might not be possible, depending upon game version. So, it's part of the reason why GBA is quote-unquote definitive. There are a lot of glitches that make Fiesta easier to do. Huzzah! Lena nearly got punched enough to be knocked out at one point in the fight. Takes the final blow. Okay, things will get a little easier from here because now I will have a solid damage source. Solid in kind of air quotes, but, you know, red mage is something. It's more than swinging the flail. Alright, so, red mage. I'm not particularly a fan of it. It is missing a lot of tools, and in some ways the best thing it does is it assists Mime and other mage casting jobs by giving double cast. So if I have a white mage and I slap double cast upon the white mage, it'll be able to cast all level 6 of its white magic spells. It'll get 3 levels of black magic, and there it is, red magic. And people get nice hats. So, optimize. Let's see what, of course, it wants to put the Frost Rod on. Daggers would be another good way to go if I were going offensive here. So I'm going to put a dagger on for the short term. Looking forward to... I think white 6 would be good to have on Galeth or Bartz. So I think I'm going to leave Bartz as a white mage, while Galeth here will be red mage for a little bit. Having up to level 3 white is... I don't think that's going to change anything. It might add a little bit more magic to red mage, but yep. Silk Robe and Silver Amulet. Yep. Equip White 6. There's the Frost Rod. I do not have level 3 spells, so I don't know if that'll be better than swinging with the dagger or not. Actually, what I'll do is I will give you a dagger, and then I will turn... I'm going to keep him in White Mage, keep building that up, because it's going to be useful. He's going to stay in Red Mage, because I think that's also useful. And then she will be white. I have to turn more people into Red Mage in the short term, because it'll be useful. Optimized, she can have the Frost Rod, and then Leather Cap, Cotton Robe, Leather Shoes. Give her the specs. And at this point, I'll have 2 people doing red in the short term, 2 people doing white in the short term, because more white is always useful and good. Get as much white as I can before turning Ferris into Bard or something. Red will help me short term with damage, make this part of the game easier, but I will eventually want... Like, white is an extremely useful ability to learn, and having having access to protect is useful, but like, level 4 white magic is extremely powerful. Like, Blink and Shell are some of the things that make late game fights really easy, and not having access to them is a bummer. So let us discover how much damage Lena can do with Ice Rod Blizzard. Red. Let's define Blizzard. Let's see how much that does. That's not much. Galloth has the same spell power, and yeah. Oops, I do not want to heal. Well. White, cure, everyone. Ferris will swing the healing staff at herself. And Nate will swing. It's good to see that Lena is taking her turns much faster, though. I'm very happy about that. It is more effective to just attack regularly than cast magic unless it's boosted. Ooh. Once I get the aura level spells, things will get easier, but it'll be a while until that happens. Yes, that, okay. Alright, and we go. Did I make it? Yes, okay. Now we can actually see if this is better or worse than whatever we would have been doing normally. Red Mage, as I can tell, is a durability decrease from White Mage, but you know, turning Ferris into a Red Mage just so that she can like keep the healing staff but swing it faster, that might be a smart choice. But I want to continue building up towards White 4, which is something that Red Mage is sort of a blend of White Mage and Black Mage, but you only get up to level 3 spells in both schools. And she's up. Cast too many spells. At least everyone has hit level 9. That's useful. I don't know what level I want to hit for everyone, but I'm going to run until I get to town. At this point, you can buy things discounted at the weapon shop here, so I'm just going to get that out of the way. We'll move the plot forward. I want a flame rod. In some versions of the game, you can buy multiple of whatever item it is, and then by the time you break out, you'll be able to sell it for a lot more money, but at this point, all I have is a single flame rod. So, we'll give that to Galeth. Now we wait. So, one of the innovations with Final Fantasy V compared to the other Final Fantasy games is there are cutscenes that take a while to happen. Like, people will die and then you will take a moment of silence for them. Or, in this case, you hang out in a cell for a while and eventually somebody comes to break you out. Another thing to notice about this castle is eventually we will be coming back through here and raiding it. But there's fire in the way. We can't touch it. One of the fun things about this castle is it can only maintain itself as long as it is on fire. The moment it is no longer on fire, it explodes. Which, you know, will be relevant in a little while. You can wander through, you can figure out the layout of the castle if you're looking for. One of these is a lightning scroll, one of these is esuna, which I don't remember how useful it is at this point, but I have a white mage, so I might as well get it. There'll be a point where I'll be using 3 red mages and a white mage, and that'll be how I get things. So now we come up to a point where usually you want to have a lot of money that gets spent so that you can buy spells and you know, sort of bring yourself up to par for the next challenge you're going to face in the run. So, I have all of the black magic now. And then, Kira, Raise, Confuse. Oh, I don't have enough money for Confuse. Okay. Well, so, now, I have a Flame Rod and I have a Frost Rod, so, I don't know if that's enough to stay at the end tonight. Let's wander in and find out. Twinko. Perfect. Takes me down to 10, but I'm alive and at full health, and I can get more. Going to wander into the pub. Hit the piano a little bit. Piano skills level up. And I'm going to... I don't think I can grab it yet. On this wall down here... Maybe I can. Let's find out. Nope. Okay. There's a rod in a box up on the top wall up there, but they don't let you climb the stairs because everything's on fire. So, I won't be able to get it. So, let's check the equipment real quick. Frost Rod, Flame Rod. Okay. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to have Lena cast Lazara on everything. And then he will cast Fyra on everything. And this might be a full party wipe. Just the Blizzara is good enough. Perfect. Alright. So, Wild and Axe here give a lot of money. Enough money that now that I've fought off 2 hordes of them, I will be able to buy the spells I'm looking for. Not you. You. Confuse. Confuse is marginally useful, but marginally useful is still useful, so I will take it. So, this is a recommended grinding point if you are playing through the game for the first time, because you can just do this, you can get a lot of money, you can buy a bunch of rods, you have a magic class with which to, you know, sort of grind yourself up to par. Going to do this well, this is going to be the last time I do it before I go and rest back in town. But I have a lot more money than I had previously, and I ought to take the time to get all the equipment options for my characters, and failing that, maybe buy extra rods. Plume Tap. I think it has reasonably good magic evade or something. Silver plate is good for the red mages because they can choose to take more defense in trade for more weight. Silk robe is a general improvement overall compared to everything. I will buy 1 silver plate, another silk robe, and then I will sort of compare. I think plumed hats, I want 4 of them. I've spent money on armor when I could spend it on rods and other stuff, but plumed hat. 1 more weight, but 1 more defense, 1 more magic defense. I think it also has more the other stuff. So I will first look at, there's the silver plate. It's 9 defense, but it drops to 4 magic defense. Or I can just straight improve the other stat line there. But I think I'm going to put the silver plate on her, give him the silk robe. I will get another silver plate for Galuf. I have to sell some of the stuff that I have, so I'm going to sell the shoes. I'm going to sell the mithril helm because I will never have anybody that can equip it. And I will buy another silver plate. Then equip Galuf with silver plate. I rested, so yes. So I'm going to save, and then this is where I am going to leave the stream for the short term. My voice is not handling this nearly as well as I expected it to, so I am going to set this down, come back at a later time when my voice feels stronger. So thank you everybody that came out. Have a nice day.